So I'd like to demonstrate how water ingress into an LED linear module can potentially lead to a fire, even without an external casing. Here I'm using a competitor's LED strip and applying some water with a little salt added to mimic rainwater, and you can see that it bubbles away nicely, despite of the use of selective conformal coating of the exposed conductors on this board, which, as you can see, offers no real benefit here. So back to real time now, and you can see the beginnings of sparks appearing near the top edge of the PCB. The area starts to glow and heat up quite considerably at this point. I'll speed things up again for another few minutes and more drying and wetting cycles before we come back to real time and things really begin to hot up and we start to get some larger areas of glowing PCB. Fast forward again, and unfortunately at this point the camera lost focus for some reason, so apologies for the blurry footage from now on. However, hopefully you can see clearly enough that we eventually get to a sustainable fault which glows red hot and produces sporadic flames. I left it as long as I dare, but eventually switched off the power before it set my bench on fire. Now I'd briefly like to demonstrate how Visive CSC protection device prevents these kinds of faults from developing. Although the device monitors a number of parameters, it tends to be the water detection sensing that activates first once water gets onto the circuit board. Here I'm putting one of our PCBs into plain water, no salt this time, and you can see that the CSC integrated into the power supply senses the water and switches off the low voltage supply to the LEDs, thereby removing the possibility of this developing into a problem where a fire might develop. The system also works on third-party systems. Without the protection the CSC offers, the circuit board sits happily in the water and you can see bubbles forming, and as we have seen, this situation can, if left to develop, lead to a fire. Now I'll insert a CSC device between the power supply low voltage output and the LED section. This time, within a few seconds of entering the water, the output is switched off and the system made safe.